So this week's a little different. Last week I did melee, and this week I started getting into projectiles. And I was talking to Andrew, who's my partner who does mostly programming, about how I wanted to go about setting up projectiles. So melee was pretty easy to set up for the way I wanted to go about it. It's just a list of attributes. I could swap meshes, I could swap attributes, and each weapon would react. I could even swap what animation it used or set what animation it used. Uh, what the hard part for projectiles was that I want certain projectiles. I want to, when you press the button down, you aim, and when you release it fires. Other projectiles, as soon as you hold the button down, it would just keep firing. So it'd be like, so there's different. There's a lot more complexity when it comes to projectiles, and so as I was discussing how I wanted to go about setting that up with Andrew, it's if I do it all in Blueprint, it just gets really messy. It just starts being a lot of nodes. And at that point, Andrew wanted to take it over. He wanted to look at it, and he's starting to set it up properly. But what's happening is now I have to like give him time to convert the whole project to C++. So I went back to, as you can see here, I was sort of trying to play with proportion. And so what I would do is I would have like, I was just starting to mock up these shapes, and I kept trying to play with bigger, smaller, trying to figure out what is the right, like what do I want from this, and what's the style gonna be? What's the tone? Let me look at some notes. Like I realized I wanted like a humor in the game, and I thought, all right, well, the old style, which is this character, I think that there's a certain type of humor that would come with that type of character. Like if he's a smart aleck, or what type, I think that sort of sets the tone. And I wanted it to have a little bit more personality to each of the characters, even tried to make a woman. So, and I was playing with this idea of maybe their arms would also be, since these were floaty, I was like, oh, maybe these arms will be detached. But then as I put arms on, I thought, they now have feet. The feet, I'm going to have them kind of be like very bouncy. They're not going to be like, it's not, more like in the air more than it's actually feet walking on the ground. I mean, all that's going to have to be tested. These guys look pretty big and heavy, so I don't know if that's going to even make sense. So I'll have to try what kind of animations work. But I was sort of looking at, the Bastion and Cat Quest both do maps different ways. Bastion is very pathing. Cat Quest is open world. I know I want to have a lush world. I want to have just a really rich environment. But if I have a rich environment, that sort of asks the question of how do you lay it out where people don't get occluded? The character doesn't go behind a house and you can't see it, or behind trees, or different things. So there's definitely things to figure out. Still, like, big questions to answer. So and a lot of those hinge on what does the character look like, because the character will define, if it's very unusual proportions, then maybe the houses are going to be unusual proportions. What level of detail do the characters have suggests how much level of detail the buildings will have. And yeah, so I'm basically playing with this. Like, this is the first, I think this will be the hero character. I want to give him a little bit like more uniform. I was actually looking at this character in Clash of Clans, like just this chess piece I'll kind of put on him there and give him this little extra thing. I'm still deciding, like, will they have switchable outfits? Definitely helmet's going to be a big deal, like what type of helmet. I want swappable helmets. And ideally I want you to have some sort of swappable gear on your body. But so this has been just a big week of taking a pause on straight development and going back to figuring out, what is it I want from this game, and where's it going to go. So that's it for this week.